Good morning, people. It's Sunday. I think it's December 2nd. And here I am, Duncan at Freezing Eagle, walking down to my A-frame and going to do a little work today. Winter has finally come around and it's definitely slowing things down. I've got a call into a plow guy who takes care of my neighbor's house. Haven't heard back from him yet, but it would be an easy hop and a skip from his place right next door to me over to this, but I'm definitely going to want to keep this open to be able to keep working. So I've started making my temporary windows. I got a roll, weighed over 100 pounds of 35 yards of actually very heavy gauge marine vinyl. It's perfectly clear, beautiful stuff. But I thought it's a little bit pricey, but compared to the actual windows, it's really nothing. And it's one way I can continue to work once I can keep snow and air out of here, wind, rain, every type of weather. So yeah, the last couple of days I've just come down here and just sledded in some tools. I brought a couple of temporary windows in this morning so that I can install those. And just the other day, Al and I were up on the roof doing some rather scary work. We had to put some wood down up there and then seal it in preparation for some metal ridge cap that we're going to make, and the weather kind of caught us just a little short of our goal of getting it all on there. But we were up on these walk boards, and then Al had the nerve to climb up and straddle a ridge and ride it like a horse, going back and forth and nailing the wood and then pinning down some of this deck armor on the top of it. So I believe at this point we're actually watertight up there, and we'll put the metal down when another occasion arises where it's warm enough. Meanwhile, it's probably in the mid-20s up here. It's beautiful, but being that it's cloudy, we don't get a lot of sun. The last few days were beautifully sunny, and about midday you get it pouring straight in the back of the building, so it actually warms it up nicely. So just going to give you a quick tour while I'm here and about to do a little work. Brought up a couple of my temporary windows that I made up this morning. And yeah, you can see my little temporary sled arrangement. It works pretty well. It'll get me into the place and allow me to keep working meanwhile. And it's a little dark in here. I plywooded up some of the openings to keep snow and wind out. So some of the windows I left the blue deck armor on. These ones wanted some light, so those ones snow and things can get into. And then the south end, my big daunting project right now. Yesterday I put up some higher staging, kind of realizing how awkward it is to have a big open expanse, and I'm trying to build a wall up into the middle of it with nothing on either side. Well, now I have second level of staging up there on the outside of where the wall's going, and it occurred to me if I put a window in the upstairs, which I'll show you that shortly, I've got some staging up there that I will bring down. And then if I double that up on the inside of this wall, then I'll be able to work back and forth, put some little bridges of wood across the opening. You can see up here I have a ladder leaning up there at a rather steep angle, but that was allowing me to put some blocking in up here to tie these wall plates. It's funny, I call them wall plates. They are wall plates. They're just going up almost vertically. And that's where we're going to tie in the rest of the framing. So this first floor wall, we have the windows. Then I built this header out of 2x6s. I had a double plate there. I decided to elevate it a little more and give it some strength because it's got to carry the weight of the glass that's going to be above it. So and I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning the other day, and I have been struggling to figure out exactly how I wanted to configure this wall with the windows. And I woke up at 3 a.m. and I had it right in my head. It's just popped up and drew a picture in a notebook. So there's going to be a peak triangle, so we're consistent with the rest of the place. Every peak has a triangle window, so there'll be one up there coming down about, I think it's 6 feet across the bottom and about 6 feet up the middle. So it's almost as tall as it is wide, pretty much within an inch or two. And then that will lay on another header, which I'll build in at the bottom of that window. And then this area will have a center window above the door opening, but I'm going to split the width about in thirds at the bottom, so there'll be triangle windows at either side near the bottom, kicking over, there'll be a triangle with a little bit of a flat top so that the width of them is such that the center window doesn't have to be enormous just for the sake of the weight of it. So anyway, that's my project now, is try and build all that in over the next couple of days. And in order to be able to do that, I realized I needed to free up the staging that's upstairs. So I'm going to take a little walk up the ladder and give you a look at that. Definitely a little slower, a little less efficient to work in the cold, but nevertheless, we plod onward and we get a little bit of work done. So here, you can see how snow is getting in. So I plywooded these front windows temporarily. I've got a little triangle up there. I'm going to make that one up. And today I've got the triangle window made for here. This is actually probably the smallest one. It's smaller than the one up in the peak. And I left some deck armor on the lower window just to keep snow out of that one. Now the triangle windows, the temporaries, are a little harder to make. And the rectangular ones will be easy. Now this dormer, this is the big dormer. And what we got going on here, I'm tripping over some things. Okay, so these window openings, I put the plywood above there, but I didn't cut it to let the light in there yet. I didn't want to let the weather in. The up end I plywooded most of the other day just to keep snow and wind out. It gotten quite a bit of rain and snow through the last storm, so that was something I didn't want to repeat. And this is looking out the south wall, so we're going to have that wall going up the next couple of days. It's supposed to get seriously mean cold. I think by Friday it'll be -6 at night. That's harsh. So the days, today isn't too bad. The high temperature will be about 30. I'll be happy to see 30, and I can manage with it. It's not nice, but it works. So what I was going to show you too is I brought up this temporary window, and the reason this one's chopped off, it doesn't go all the way up, is simply because I ordered a roll of material that's 54 inches wide. I think that was about the widest I could get from this place, but it's thick marine vinyl, very heavy gauge. I think it'll withstand the wind well. So I made about 2/3 of the window, that little upper triangle. I'll just put a piece of plywood across, so that'll still let light in, keep weather out. And then I thought of a little trick too to prevent snow and rain from backtracking into the window openings, is put a little ramp of wood across with some of this deck armor angling out, almost like an angled sill. I'll just cover it with some of the deck armor, and that way rain and snow and wind will just kind of run out. And the reason for that, simply, these windows are not going in the outside. Right now it would be unsafe to try and get up there and attach into the outside. So I thought, well, you know what, we'll just cheat and we'll mount them on the inside, and then we'll just angle the sills back so it drains the snow and water out. Right now there's no sheetrock or insulation to get wet, so we're not too vulnerable. It withstood a fair amount of on and off rain over the summer, and all good quality material, real plywood, so it can tolerate a certain amount of water. So anyway, that's where we're at today. I did get that little skylight in. I'll give you a look at that. So we decided, just for ventilation and a little bit of extra light, this little skylight went up. Right now you see a bunch of snow on the upper half. That walkboard system is about midway up this skylight. We actually cut a chunk out of the walkboard to accommodate the skylight so we can go up and down and not hit it. So that's cool. But anyway, it's beautiful up here. Cold and snowy, but very beautiful. I love New England. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I'd go other places. I wouldn't live anywhere else, I don't think. I just love it up here. Every season is a little different, and they're all beautiful in their own way. This one's can be less comfortable, but it's still beautiful, and I love it. And I like to hike and ski in the snow, so I'll get plenty of time to do that. Oh yeah, here's the other little window. I parked this over here temporarily. This little window is the temporary that's going to go up in this little triangle. So I made that up this morning along with the other one. So that one's going to go right up in that opening on the inside of it, and we'll ramp out a little bit of a sill to keep the snow and water from getting in. So that's today's goal, to get these little windows in and actually to disassemble this set of staging, bring it down, and then set it up about where that aluminum ladder and that little blue ladder are. We're going to set up staging on the inside, and then we'll have enough staging to allow me to build that middle wall. I was wondering how I was going to get that done, and then it clicked yesterday. It's like if I get staging on both sides of it, bridge across between it, I can frame that all in. So the goal is to have that all closed in, and then the weather will be closed out. That's the game plan. Anyway, good talking to you folks, and I will keep you posted as we move forward. Have a good day.